Hey guys, all right, so we're going to go over the previous trade that we're looking at yesterday for Bitcoin. There's the rising wedge formation that I entered a short off of, and now I'm going to let you guys know what my current stance is with this trade, if I'm still in it or not, and what I'm looking for next. We're going to take a quick peek at MATIC, Ethereum, and Cardano and see what they're doing as well. All right, cool guys, I'll see you on the inside. All right, so basically we saw price action show that we got a rejection off this area of interest. In confluence with that, there was also the support rejection right here. So this is the moment where I basically entered after this candle printed, showing that there was resistance. So once that printed and I entered, I started tracking the first rejection that we got along the way. And that helps you track momentum. So we got this rejection here. And every single time we got a rejection off of it, it's basically telling you that you can stay in your position. At the moment I saw it break past this downtrend level of resistance and we got a bounce, this is where I closed most of my position. Well, not most of it, about 25%. However, roughly around here, we got a W pattern play out off of this level of support. And once it broke that neckline resistance, because this is a reversal pattern, I closed about 75% of my position. And then I got actually stopped out as I was moving my stop loss further into the profit zone, because I like to move it further into the profit zone as we get these rejections from when you're tracking the momentum of the drop. And I put it roughly around here. And about half an hour ago, I got stopped out in the profit zone. The technical target was roughly around here, and we got we're only about 1.5% away from actually hitting the target, so we did pretty good for this trade. I'm not upset at all that we didn't hit the technical target, because you should never ever have that kind of mindset where like you can find out what the technical targets are for formations, but you should always be reactive to the market to know when to like get out or escape early. Yeah, right now though, there might be a long position opportunity, but let's take a look at this really quick. So we got a trend line through here, defining the support level, and we got a horizontal level of resistance right here. I'm gonna get rid of this dotted line here for you guys. Now the technical target for this formation is found by basically playing it off the neckline W build right here, and you grab from the area of resistance to the area of support off the most recent low. Now this is downtrending, so we're most likely going to have a really bad risk to reward ratio, so this might be a trade that I won't be touching. I'll find out in a moment. But basically you put your target here, and so the target for the formation is 23,700. If I were to want to enter this, I'll put my long position tool roughly around here. Let's say we got the confirmation bounce. We got the candle print showing that there was buyer's momentum with a wick. We put our stop loss in place roughly around here, and our target here. So this isn't even a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Now you could try to cheat it by putting your stop loss roughly around here from this area of support here, because it will technically act as an invalidation point for this formation, but it doesn't mean it won't turn into something else like an inverse head and shoulders, right? Because we could get something like that. So you got to be careful with your stop loss and just try to follow the rules of the formation of where you put your stop loss. The rules for this one is basically here, giving us a 0 to 0.87 risk to reward ratio, so it's not worth it. And even when you put it here, it's still not worth it. You always want to see a 2 here or higher. So you'll have a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. So if you were to lose your trades for any reason, you can lose you could have a win rate of only about 40% and still come out profitable if you follow this rule of only picking 1 to 2 or better risk to reward ratio trades. So just keep that into your mind before you enter a trade. Always follow the rules of trying to find a 1 to 2 or better risk to reward ratio trade. And you'll find as well, when it comes to market behavior, when you see these risk to reward ratios, that the volume tends to be really low, because not many professional traders want to act on a trade where that gives you that much risk. So we kind of depend on spot traders and accumulation in order for us to get those kind of pumps. Anyways, that's everything I got for you for Bitcoin. Let's look over at MATIC really quick because we were looking at that yesterday. So yesterday I was talking about if we broke this uptrend level of support, that we may see it drop down to this green line right here. And I had an alarm set for roughly around here because we had this small little area of convergence, and this acted as an area of interest on the VPVR. So I had an alarm set through here. So if I were to enter this trade, and we got that rejection roughly around here, I would have entered a short and then have my price alarm hit. And once we broke this level of resistance right here, that's when I would have gotten out early. I didn't actually end up entering this trade because I did not like the price action that I saw. So basically there was like a double top forming and the risk to reward ratio wasn't worth it. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't try to act on it as well because obviously it didn't play out the way I wanted it to. Anyways, going over to Ethereum, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, I was just giving a lesson for someone here. A sec here, guys. I'll clean this up. Actually, I'll give you guys this lesson as well. So basically, Ethereum is building a pennant. And I'll delete the... Oh, I don't need to delete that. Anyways, Ethereum is building a pennant formation. It looks like we have a rejection here first to define whether or not we're in a pennant, because you typically want to wait until you have 3 touch points before you define it as a formation. So if we get a rejection here, you can put your stop loss above the formation, and then you can ride it to the area of support roughly around here. This is a form of swing trading when you're trading inside of a formation before you're preparing for a breakout trade. So basically, you could enter here, and the good thing about trading within formations is that your risk to reward ratio is actually typically pretty good. You want to put it, let's say we got the rejection roughly around here. You want to put your stop loss right above the most recent swing high. And then you want to put your target right at the area of support, and you always want to undercut it as well, just in case this formation begins to uptrend a little bit more. And you'll find those uptrends start to build when people constantly try to undercut each other in the order books, and it starts a ramping effect, and you start building a more a tighter formation where it becomes more uptrending that way. But yeah, this, in my opinion, is worth the trade if we get like in a smaller time frames. If you want to like dissect the price action on like the 5-minute chart, and you start seeing a double top formation and it breaks the neckline, then that would be a good time to enter a short and ride it to the next area of support. And this is like a 6% gain for a potential 2% loss. Because it's a 2% loss, you typically want to use a smaller amount of leverage and a smaller amount of your portfolio. And normally I would recommend using 1 to 3% of your portfolio in a trade. In this scenario, I'd only use about 1% because of the how much you could potentially lose in this trade. Especially with altcoins, the typically where you put your stop loss in place, you end up losing quite a bit. And if you're someone who likes to use leverage, where you multiply not only your gains, but you also multiply your risk, let's say if you use like 10x leverage on this, you would lose like 20% of whatever you put in once it hits your stop loss. So play it safe, use a small amount of leverage. At least that's what I'm going to be doing if I decide to enter the swing trade. And once we get the bounce, you can do the opposite. You can enter a long position. So you just look for the most recent swing high, the support right here, and tuck it underneath there and ride it along the top. And you'll notice the behavior of people doing this kind of trading actually defines what's actually going on with the formation itself. Because the formation is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, the risk to reward ratio gets worse and worse and worse. So it becomes more and more dangerous to be entering a trade of this style when you're trying to bounce between each one. And that's what causes the volume to slowly decline, because people aren't willing to take that risk anymore. So you have to switch your strategy. If you decide to like enter into like one of these positions and it hits your stop loss and you get that confirmation bounce, then that's pretty much the opportunity to enter a breakout strategy trade rather than a swing trading strategy. So we would enter off the breakout, and the technical target for this formation is based off of this area of resistance right here to the most recent area of support for these pennants. So you grab this and you click and drag it basically, and you get the technical target that you see like right here. Now, if we zoom out a little bit for Ethereum, we can see that this is a strong level of resistance. And the reason why, if we go over to the daily chart, we can see that we had support bounces here, 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 and here during this little area of convergence before we dropped. And we had a lot of support bounces in history as well in the price action of Ethereum. So what we got to do is undercut this level of resistance. So if we decide to enter a long position of the breakout, we would want to undercut it by a little bit. So I'd say around 1687 and not go for the technical target of around 1787. It's about $100 difference, but it's definitely worth it because everything's a competition, right? You got to take profits before everyone else does. So just play that safe if you decide to enter off something like this. I know I'm definitely going to be entering off of this, and along the way, I'm going to be looking out for resistance from the top of the formation. So if we break out, let's say around here, I want to look out for this acting as resistance again around here if I were to enter off of the breakout. So it could, yeah, a lot can happen. This could turn into like a double top or something like that and then bring us back down. And I was also going over in the lesson I was just talking to you about how when these 2 points meet, typically what ends up happening is the formation breaks out roughly about 30% before we reach this tip. If you measure it, this is like a 7-day and 15-hour long formation if it were to reach the very end. Because we're in crypto, everyone's impatient, so you want to expect the breakout about 30% prior to this, the area where these two trend lines actually converge and meet. So that's just a little tidbit for you guys if you decide to want to take that into action. So basically, if you wanted to use that within your day trading strategy, you put the vertical line in place and you can just set an alarm for when we reach that point. But you can, because it's a time one, you could technically set up an alert on your phone for like just for around that time on that day. Looking at Cardano, there's nothing really going on for Cardano, guys. We did break out of this downtrending level of resistance, but we already hit its technical target off this pump, and now we're doing a little reset. You can see that we're having a double bottom formation, but this one's not really worth trading. Just by looking at it, you can tell that the risk-reward ratio is going to be like a 1-to-1, so I won't be touching this one. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I got for you guys. If you have any questions about this, you can reach out to me in the Discord at any time. I'd love to help you guys out, and you have yourself an amazing day. Thank you.